Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Hope we meet you well. Okay, the main news on the political front now, of course, is the National Assembly leadership. So the battle, so to use the word, continues. APC moves to pacify aggrieved aspirants. Well, our guest this morning is Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi. Dr. Jabi is Zonal Chair of the North Central Zone Division of Campaign for Democracy. So thank you very much for joining us this morning, Dr. Jabi.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Just wanted to establish contact. So I was just saying, I was thanking you for joining us. Looking at the whole question of, something of a crisis almost in the ruling party because of the principal officers, the way it has selected them. Now there's a sort of rapprochement. They might be looking at it again. Is this in line of what Campaign for Democracy, does this sort of address a major issue?
Hello.
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 Good morning, Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi.
Morning, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I was actually...
question.
Yeah. So I started off by asking the moves of the ruling party now. The vice president-elect has stepped into the matter, and that is to say that they're now looking to see if they can take another look at the whole matter of the preferences of the party for these senior officers. Of course, as we know, there is the South-South represented by Akpabio, Northwest by Jibrin, and then going over to the House of Representatives, Northwest again, Tajuddin Abbas, and Kalu Southeast, Benjamin Kalu Southeast. Now, of course, there are a number of things that many people see as wrong with that. The fact that the Northwest in that foursome actually has 2 slots, I guess that is one of the main things that will now be looked at, why that needs to be so, probably will have to be changed. So I was saying, is this in line with the thinking of the Campaign for Democracy in the North Central Zone?
I think it's a very healthy development that they are looking at it with a more broader mind and perspective. I will see some reactions from some of the elected legislatures. The party decision is supreme in any case, and the Nigerians should know that each of the elected party officials into the National Assembly came on the platform of a political party. And the party, again, being supreme, has a position to take in respect of who the leadership of the National Assembly should be. But unfortunately, this decision is coming late when they've allowed individuals to start making up their mind before they come out with their final position on the leadership of the Assembly. But having said this, the need for wider consultation and to appeal to the reactionary legislators in the House to understand the position of Mr. President-elect. It's not as if he's imposing leadership on them, but we want the best for this country because we're in a very difficult circumstances. And for a leader who has been tested with a track record of achievement and accomplishment politically, and you need to have that base, that leadership base, that will assist him in the legislature to be able to translate his policy of renewed hope that will better a lot of Nigerians. And that is why the party is coming this time around. But again, we must make a case, a very strong case for North Central Zone. It will be disservice to anybody to think that we have no material to present North Central Zone for principal position of the Assembly. Because it came after Northwest. And we take on the solidly behind Tinubu and we deliver wholesomely to the party. So for anybody to think because we are holding on the core of the national chairman of the political party, we have no right to discuss or have a voice into the National Assembly. I think it's a very big error. And I'm not in that school of thought. Again, this blame will have a little go to the leadership, political leadership of the North Central Zone. Because, for instance, in Niger, if the government has been so mobile and active, It could have shown pure interest in this arrangement for somebody from the North Central Zone to emerge, because we came second about number, and we had the number and deliver a mass to APC. So there is no basis for us to protect or think we have no link to the leadership of the National Assembly. We are the bridge. If they refuse all the leadership of the National Assembly, we will cut off the bridge and not because one going to another. And that's my case for now.
Indeed. Also, the other thing is that the Vice President is reported to have voiced what is on the minds of many, that they need to avoid a situation where, first of all, this whole matter of the faith ticket. We have a Muslim executive, and I think there also is being seen that you don't want a situation where the first four citizens, so to speak, will be of one particular faith. The president and the vice president are Muslim, and then if the Akpabio, the objection to Akpabio probably was informed by what I've just spoken about. It is an important aspect, isn't it?
When I accept the fact that we need to balance it, now that the group of obedience have escalated our political inclination to a religion affiliation, that is why this thing is coming up. In 1993, when Abiola emerged with Kingibe, nobody raised eyes brown on the issue of faith base. But now that is an issue now, it is better that we give it to them, because all legislators are equal as far as the National Assembly is concerned. They are equal partners in developmental process. So nobody is having any extra edge. But because of political conveniences, we may be thinking of this. If it is religion, yes, it has been brought to North Central. But North Central, other candidates who are Christians from the North Central and are very, very formidable. The issue of Honorable Yusuf from Plateau State is a test case in this direction. Is a material is tested, his impact in the sector is so pronounced, and that will not be taken away from him. So if somebody like that, but is a Christian after all, he could do better than any other person. But for them to conclude and foreclose that the North Central have no voice in the National Assembly, I think is a very big mistake. And then they should not misappropriate the position of the National Chairman of APC to have been a solo position for the North Central Zone to contend with. So Christian, anybody, and the religion is about choice. Whoever chooses to be Muslim, he chooses to be Muslim. And whoever chooses to be a Christian in this direction, chooses Christian. Whereas we're in a circular state here. So that the leadership of the National Assembly is not a general election. It is an election of equal partners in the parliamentary process. And they must be very, very reasonable at this material time to ensure that the incoming government has a very clean beginning that will give Nigeria the renewed hope that we're looking up to. If they start with this hula below to start causing crises as a result of leadership of National Assembly, then you are telling the electorate who take the pains, despite what we are going through, to have voted for this party to be tried again on second chance, that they've made a big mistake. And I don't want to believe that is the direction they want to go.
Indeed. And as you said earlier, even though some in the National Assembly, some members-elect are saying that, look, it's our thing, and so people should not, the Assembly, the National Assembly should not be seen to have been sort of affected from outside. But as you said, it's not done anywhere. You are elected on the platform of a party, and so you don't want a situation of having a quote-unquote rebel parliament, do you? Or a hostile parliament, such as we have seen in our recent history. So that's why this is very, very important that they get it right. Although I'm at a loss myself to sort of understand why or how they came up with the initial list where there were 2 representatives from the Northwest. This probably was, maybe this is sort of pointing to how much of a contribution was made from that region. But as you've said, so what's wrong with the North Central? We can also find some people there too.
You see, the issue of North Central is a very sympathetic one, because here our political leadership have gone into sleeping. They are not mobile at all, as it were, because we know that this issue come up, and we know the contribution we've made in terms of number in making Tinubu presidency a reality, particularly in this part of the states and zone. So for them to conclude that two principal positions should go to the Northwest, I think it's unacceptable. And it's a great injustice against the North Central Zone as an entity. And don't forget that if you are coming to the table with anything that is valuable, you must come with your strength. We've been able to demonstrate our strength in the North Central Zone. The leadership of the parties from North Central Zone, from Nasarawa State, and it's been able to hold the party strongly and deliver it for election. That is commendable. So you can't fault the North Central Zone as if we don't have people who are highly educated, who are highly mobile, who know this game very well. But because our leadership in North Central Zone have gone to sleep. If the likes of IBB have raised a voice on this issue, if the like of General Abdulsalam have raised a voice on this issue, if the like of my governor, Abubakar Sani Bello, has indicated interest, and his Plateau State counterpart have indicated interest, the issue of Wase could have been a walkover. Because as a deputy speaker under Benjamin Amila, he did very well. So we could have had consolidation of continuity for us in the North Central Zone, that taking it to the Northwest and taking the deputy national president to the Northwest. Why? It's unfair. So the North Central will contest this issue, except they look into that issue or pacify us with alternative that is in tandem with our demands. We will not give up on this demand that North Central should produce. After all, we have a senator that indicates interest to be president, Senate president, in person of 313, Senator Sani Mohammed, but he could not fly the ticket because of this only arrangement that is coming late. Yes, Akpabio is a very good materials. As executive governor of Akwa Ibom, he delivered excellently well. You can't take that knowledge of leadership from him. And I know as a legislator, a ranking one for that matter, he has played his part effectively and even expanded the scope of APC, having seamless enrollment into South. And that is a very good thing. So if you are putting leadership of the National Assembly on performances, competencies, and what have you, I think North Central States merited this, and they should be given opportunity to have their first 11 on the contest of the National Assembly position. This is the position of Campaign for Democracy in Nigeria. I will continue to agitate for this until this imbalance is addressed. We will not give up.
Okay, but you spoke about Akpabio there, and you sort of endorsed that gentleman. And as you know, the Southeast has a slot in the top four in the National Assembly. There, it is in the House of Representatives. But as you know,
yeah, the deputy speaker.
Yes, the deputy speaker. As for the zone itself, as you know, Orji Uzor Kalu, a senator himself, he insists that he is still in the race. I don't know how you think that might work, because it's all about party, hierarchy, party preference and all of that. And here he is saying that
Senator Kalu,
he believes that better could be done for the
Senator
Southeast.
Kalu,
go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Senator Kalu is being smarter by half. He's being smarter by half. You remember Senator Kalu opened his leg during the general election. He's neither here or there, but fraternized with the leadership of the APC. You understand? And because he's on the platform of APC into the Senate as the whip of the Senate at a time, he's still serving now. That gave him a very vantage position. But Senator Kalu never come up with a clean hand. And he has no moral ground to contest for the Senate presidency, because the zone he came from deficiently performed. They did not give the required number of votes that could bring this president to power. That is number one. Number two, they are en bloc in synergy with their brothers, the obedient and idiots that they have there. Number three, it is this same Kalu that is very, very deep in treasury activities. If they allow him to emerge, it's going to be a recarnate of Saraki and their destructive elements. I should not be allowed. And he cannot even emerge in the first place because we can't trust him. We know that we that labor and suffer to bring APC to power, and equally have been intensifying activities as civil society movement to ensure that this party regain power to consolidate under the leadership of a tested legal icon, political icon in Nigeria. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that he's going to do the best he can to ensure that we get out of the doldrums for ourselves and put us on a pedestal where we'll be appreciated by committee of nations.
Okay.
So the Southeast has no voice as far as we are concerned.
All
They
right.
put their head in one, they put their head in one basket, and that basket is leaking. So they should not say anything here. So issue of
let me bring it.
one, as far as we are concerned.
Okay. Well, I was going to just put on a call, but that call dropped. So if Barrister Austin in Port Harcourt can try again, please go ahead and do that, because that's what happened. The lines are open now, so we could take it. And I have heard you loud and clear, Zonal Chair of the North Central Zone of Campaign for Democracy. The Deputy Speaker in the House of Representatives right now, Wase, as you said, if it had been, I mean, it just is the way it has gone. But Jibrin Barao, Northwest there, somebody's going to have to be a casualty, won't they, between of a sort of a relook at it. Somewhere between Jibrin Barao, who is Northwest, Tajuddin Abbas, who is Northwest. One moment, I hear there's another call on the line. Ejiofor?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Ejiofor. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you very much for this educative program. What I really want to say is that Nigerians, we have gone through a lot. And it's honestly my wish, and I believe the wish of many Nigerians, is that people like this Comrade Zaka should be the people that will be around the president-elect in order to direct him and guide him on how to take off from where the outgoing government ends. Because if we continue discussing about Nigeria, honestly, it's something that nobody will even like to listen or even talk about it. But let's just pray that people like this comrade will be around the president-elect to guide him so that he will take up from there, and maybe Nigeria will see a change that we all are praying for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ejiofor, for calling in. Did you hear that, Dr. Jabi? By now you would have noticed that we're having some transmission difficulties or connectivity issues with our guest who is remote, Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi, Zonal Chair of the North Central Zone of Campaign for Democracy. However, we're patching up as best as we can. So, Dr. Jabi, can you hear me? Okay. We'll probably take, we'll take in the calls as we wait for conditions to improve. But did I hear that? Okay, Mr. George in Ikeja, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. George.
Uncle, good morning.
Good morning.
I am offline. What you are showing on your screen is different.
Okay, what we're talking about really is the battle for the National Assembly leadership. APC moves to pacify aggrieved aspirants. That's what we've been talking about, and we're doing so with Campaign for Democracy in North Central Zone Chair, Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi.
Thank you.
All right.
I think that is the right thing to do. I have been following the discussions and process since the zoning arrangement was announced by the party. Uncle Yori, my view on this is that if the APC makes attempt to change what has just been announced, that structure and pattern of zoning that has just been announced, they will shoot themselves on the foot. Because the Northwest, we feel, oh, something was given to us and we decided to take it back because the other zone protested. The other one, we say, okay, you felt the other zone is more important than us. You decided to take what you had given to us before. So instead of making any changes, I would rather suggest that those who are aggrieved now should be pacified with other positions. After all, there are other positions left, leadership positions left in the National Assembly leadership and also in the executive functions. Uncle Yori, let me just tell you what I know. Most of those agitations by the lawmakers are not for them, are not for their constituencies. It's for themselves. They want to be giving juicy committees. They want to be to have something that they call constituency allowance, which they can manage and all the rest. So the party might as well just assure them that they will give them some space to get those things that they're looking for, rather than changing the arrangement that has been announced already.
Okay.
If they make a change, the consequences will be worse than what the announcement, what the structure that has just been announced. The consequences of that change will be worse than what is on ground now.
All right.
That's
then.
the way I see it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. George, for phoning in the view. Okay, we'll just take a break now. Stay with us, please. As soon as we come back, we'll continue with the conversation and also taking your calls on this important aspect of, moving towards the inauguration of the president-elect, who in turn will then inaugurate the National Assembly, and then that will kick off everything. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And let me quickly put Mazi Okorafor from Aruchuku on. He's called in. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. You're my guest. I've just looked at the issue that the governors that are about leaving and the one that are about leaving, I would suggest to them that we know that wages or pension or gratuity of the workers, they should try as much as possible, if to borrow money or to suspend some of this, all those steps before they leave office. Because it will be very, very disheartening for them to leave office and leave bad lots of salaries, pension for them to not have it. Like in Abia State, you go to Abia State, they have a lot of problems. Other states, even Kogi State, you see people have still problems about pension. The governors should try as much as that. Even the incoming governors, they should look very well that what they should be doing, suspend any job coming. Try as much as possible what they call continuity. Clear all the outstanding debts, clear all the things that already, and even the contracts that people have already started. Make sure that they complete it. But the situation whereby the incoming one will just come because of you didn't like the way the owner was just going, you abandon those things now, compounding additional debts for people and other. And every day we see minor road, minor bridge and commissioning ceremony. They should try as much and curtail all those things. To me, it doesn't make sense. What is the job of a governor? What is your job in their state? You are the chief secretary. Is it not your job to make sure roads are good, to make sure that you have schools, to make sure that students go to school,
Mazi.
Any minor bridge now, you just invite invite people to come at it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Mazi Okorafor. Mazi, actually, you've gone off at a tangent because we're really looking at the quagmire in the leadership of the National Assembly, selecting candidates for them. That's what we were looking at, and the fact that APC seems to be taking another look at it, and so that's what and APC.
But they're not supposed. When you talk about selecting candidates, you know that some of these states, it's the governors that sponsored all those candidates. Some of them, in as much as the governors sponsored those candidates, they have to dance to the tune of their sponsors. Who pays the state tune? That is the problem. That's why we normally compare that. Let us have an independent candidate in any state where you are contesting for it, not for somebody to sponsor you. That is the job. Now tell me, you decide for who will be a senator. You decide for who will be a House of Rep member. You decide who will be a House of Assembly member. That is the problem that there's no independence in terms of all these candidates. That is why, if you want to contest, make sure you have your own. You see, like, is it Ethiopia and Kaduna? Let's take that. The young man that overthrown the KP State as speaker. He went on his own. Nobody sponsored him. He said a grassroots. Everybody knows that. He made mention about even the deputy in Kwara State. He said he's a journalist. He It's on independent. They went on nobody. So nobody will come tomorrow if he goes to say that I'm going to contest also post in any place. Nobody will come and dictate to that person. Even the young man in Kaduna State here, who went for the House of Bread. Yes, House of Bread. He went on his own. He's a teacher, a HND holder, or no BS holder. He's teacher, a popular administrator like that.
Okay.
He went on his own. Nobody sponsored him. So that is the problem Nigeria is. All these issues of go for that reason and sponsor. That is Nigeria's problem. The area we eradicate.
Okay. Well, but thank God that Mazi was able to put across most of. I think we got the sense you're making. Thank you very much, Mazi, for calling in. And our guest is Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi. He is the Zonal Chair, North Central Zone of Campaign for Democracy. I'm glad that we have you back. Now, while you were away for a bit, courtesy of the strength signal strength, a suggestion was made by a caller, Mr. George, calling in from Lagos, that might it not be a bit problematic if we try to resolve the Northwest logjam, so to speak, Jibrin Barau, Northwest, Tajuddin Abbas, Northwest, in the National Assembly. Now, as it were, coming into that and rectifying that, one will be a casualty. And his question, his opinion was that it would be difficult. It might cause bad blood. So what do you think about that?
Well, my leader, the symbol of Nigerian from May 29, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has a way of resolving. He's a very good crisis manager and problem solver. I have no doubt in his ability, whenever he's back, to get this job resolved within the conflicting zones. Since North Central is not too forceful, agitating for the position, and the party have taken his position, and the chairman, the national chairman of APC is from North Central Zone, and if he feels that is the way he wants it to go, we will appeal to our brothers, the legislators, to tamper justice with mercy and fall in line with party loyalty, with party discipline, to ensure that they allow you to go. There are other positions, principal positions in the National Assembly that will still come up. We should be pacified with that. Why those actors that are pushing those who want to be rebellion to carry on their action should be called together and appeals to them. They should appeal to them so that they can see reasons why it's like that. And allow us to move forward and be looking towards the inauguration, and it will be a win-win situation for everybody. It's not do or die. Everybody in the National Assembly as a legislator-elect is a leader in his own right, representing his people and by extension, representing Nigerian society at large. So that is what they should do.
Okay, one second, Dr. Jabi. Let me bring on Mr. Hudson. Thank you very much, Hudson, for calling in. Barrister Hudson from Port Harcourt. Did I lose him again? You won't believe it, Hudson. You got back in, and then we lost it again. So the zonal chair, North Central Zone of Campaign for Democracy, was saying, as Mr. George, the caller who came in earlier, had said that there are other positions, and probably they're going to now have to manage this quite properly and delicately. It might well be that they will appeal to those, because those are the two that it affects. Let's say the party has made its decision, Akpabio South, and then Benjamin Kalu Southeast. But in between, we got Jibrin Barau Northwest and Tajuddin Abbas Northwest. Now, these are the two gentlemen that APC probably have to know how to sort of approach. Is it the deputy Senate president now? Candidature for the deputy Senate president that you take elsewhere? Or is it the speakership in the form of Tajuddin Abbas that you will take elsewhere? Those are probably internal questions for the APC to resolve. But the vice president has said that he's really going to maintain, he has a very good relationship, as he said, with a lot of the incoming legislators. And the whole effort is that it shall be the party's preference that indeed shall be voted for. So that's the way we have that. But would you like to speak a bit further? You've already spoken on it, but the fact that is it the is it the Deputy Senate President or the Speaker? Both those two gentlemen are, proud members of the Northwest Zone. So which one would you say APC should tinker with, if at all?
No, I think in the circumstances, they should just pacify the aggrieved legislatures. They are human beings. They should allow sense of reasoning to take place. We cannot be somersaulting with our decisions. That decision must have been looked into critically before they arrive at it. My problem with that decision is that it came late, in the middle of allowing those people to have made up their mind and started the campaign trail. That is my challenge with it. And there is no wider consultation among the members of the National Assembly, block by block, zone by zone, to understand why the party is having a preference for what they intend to do. It could have been done earlier before we get to the stage where somebody like Wase now, we naturally want to succeed his boast that it's not coming back. But it's no longer possible now because it's not in North Central. So somebody like Honorable Wase, that has been there for over 20 years now in the National Assembly, should be called as an individual, as an entity. He has overwhelming influence on those who are going to be rebellion from the northern geopolitical zones. So Wase should be brought to book, appeals to him to talk to his people. He has been there as deputy speaker. He should allow these things to go because he must be a leader. After deputy speaker for over 20 years, for having been a legislator for over 20 years, he may be the next governor of Nasarawa State, everything being equal. And we still need those leaders to help him. So that is why he should not rock the boat at this material time. He should allow it to go. After all, it's about give and take. That is for North Central and Wase, as it is. But as far as I'm concerned too, they must be watchful of the leprosy finger of those who came to the National Assembly through multi-party system now. The first experience we're having, about 5-6 political parties are there, and they all have different agenda. But the dominance is the APC. To appeal to some of them to understand why they should belong to the winning team that were chosen by the party leadership to support it. Because there are still other, a committee position, very juicy committee positions. And that we pacify them. It's all about interest, as it is. But their primary purpose as elected legislators to represent Nigerian interests is to have the same position of policy trusts and then rekindle the hope of Nigeria on the incoming administration under the leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for Nigerians to have peace, for Nigerians to recapitalize from a moribund of decay infrastructure, for Nigerians to have hope in a government of their own that they voted for and they can count on it, and that the promise will be fulfilled, for Nigerians to have hope that those political parties and their party supporters across board that make APC to win this election are rewarded as much as possible, and then fix the issue of security challenges. I think those are the issues we'll be looking at now. They are no longer individual as legislator elected on party. They are already a Nigerian entity working for Nigerian states, for the betterment of Nigerian states. How our children will go to school. 13.1 Nigerians are out of school. Almost a 40% inflation now, and almost 40% you unemployed, and our education facilities are moribund. Those are the issues. Agriculture, commodities in the market is above the ceiling now, and the cash is no longer there because the naira is very, very weak. Those are what should concern them. The issue of oil theft should be an issue. The issue of subsidy is an issue. This is what should content the mind of the new legislature than fighting for speaker and non-speaker and what have you. Now, we have a job ahead of us. This administration is going to make Nigeria. If they fail, they will not have a country called our own again, and God forbid that. With the leadership we have in place, knowledgeable, experienced, well-informed, he could be able to put materials and men together to transform our misfortune to fortune, using his background as a tested leader and a Democrat by excellence.
Exactly. Because, well, first of all, we've spoken about this whole matter of competence, that you want capable, competent people in place. And I don't think there's very much doubt as to, the track records of all the people that have already been mentioned. But there is a situation that is a bit different, which is that the National Assembly, the party doesn't have the two-thirds majority with which it could sort of ram its way through, if that is the proper expression. even though most Democrats are, I notice most Democrats say that they are relieved when the election results don't show that indication. My mind immediately goes back to the late Madiba, who was happy that the ANC didn't have that power so that there would be some sort of inclusiveness. But where I'm going in all of this is that the ruling party doesn't have that kind of a majority anymore in the National Assembly. And that is why it could be seen to be delicate in the sense that if all sorts of lobbying goes on, do you think they might be able to force the hands of the ruling party? That is, just using their sheer numbers, the minority majority, so to speak.
No, what they need to do now is to intensify action and look at the actors of those segmental legislators and what they represent. Ask some of them, feel them. What is their demand? Beside the speakership, beside the deputy senate president, what exactly do they want after those two? What do they want? If they are able to get the leadership under control, then the leadership will be able to pass message. And there are several ways to do it. Obasanjo has his ties of doing such a thing in the past when he was there as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to legislators. So Tinubu should have his own ties too of how to reach out to those aggrieved members so that they should not become a stumbling block to all his policy trusts and the social contract with Nigerian people that intend to give out. Because we cannot afford to fail this time around. No excuse that any leadership can give to Nigerians to ensure that we continue in this penury, in this poverty, in this disease-inflected environment we are operating. We must have a paradigm shift from governance of corruption, from governance of misfortunes, from governance of misappropriation. We must be seeing governance of knowledge that is adding value to Nigerian lives. You must be seeing government that is giving us quality education, must be government that is putting human capital to use, must be seeing government that is innovative, that is creative, that is for the people, at the heart of the people. And we've got the right leadership for the first time since '66. This is the right time we are getting it. So we must not allow few individuals to fly away on the basis of party leadership, National Assembly leadership, or what have you. They must pacify them. They are there in number. But I can tell you that some of them too, if they meet with the principal on individual basis and meet with some party leaders, they will change them.
Okay, it went off again. But I wonder if, you know, for people who are also listening, in addition to our main guest, Dr. Jabi, going back to the matter of the Southeast and Orji Uzor Kalu insisting that fairness to him would be, you know, he should be considered for, you know, the position of Senate President. Now, our guest has already spoken on that. He's already looked at the calculus, the political calculus, and who brought what to the table, and so who is deserving of what. But Kalu has said that, you know, people shouldn't, we shouldn't just look at figures like that, that there's also this matter of inclusiveness. And even though the Southeast does have its spot in Benjamin Kalu, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, I have heard him, in fact, Kalu was dismissive of that particular office, saying, no, we can do better than that for the Southeast. So from the point of view of inclusiveness, how important an issue do you think that is? If our guest, Senator Jabi, can't hear me, maybe people could call in on that if viewers are listening to that. Because okay, you can hear. So what do you think?
I can hear you.
So what do you think of that particular aspect where Senator Kalu is saying that, look, he fears that he has to remain in this race because the Southeast hasn't been done well by, and people, as he put it, in relation in response to what you've explained already, he said, look, if people didn't vote for the party this time around, they can vote for the party later. We shouldn't be going by this.
He's been mischievous. Senator Kalu is being mischievous. I can say it wholeheartedly. And he doesn't have that right. It's not his birthright to think he represents the Southeast. Who did you represent in the Southeast? Who did you represent in the Southeast? Do we not know how he won his election to come back from prison yard to election and then come back to National Assembly? He's been mischievous to use the umbrella of the Southeast. He's not even projecting the interests of the Southeast. Everybody knows this. So you should not bring that issue to the table now. We are talking of people who have added a value to electoral process. What is the number? Even from his state, the same election he contested with Tinubu at the presidential level. Look at the margin of vote he had. And look at what he gave to Tinubu, less than 1%. Is that a very sincere individual? If he's not careful, his case will be open. I will get back to prison yard to go and serve his
No,
continuous
Mr. Chairman, don't let's go there. Don't let's go there. Well, he is a distinguished senator today of the Federal Republic, and that's what concerns us.
Sense. And must have sense of belonging. He's not the only Igbo man there. Now, he's the only Igbo man from the southeast that won the election or as a ranking senator. Why is he personalizing it as if without him, nobody will do it? It's Kalu. Another Kalu is a speaker from the same southeast. If Kalu replaces Kalu, what is the challenge there? Kalu replaces Kalu is the same Kalu family.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know, but unless you know, I don't know. As you know, names sometimes coincide. They might not.
No, I'm just trying to play the joke.
Okay.
I'm just trying to play the joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, well, as you also mentioned earlier that there are personal ambitions in all of these things. He feels that he's a ranking member, has paid his dues, he's been minority leader, and so he's really at a loss. But you've again explained yourself that this is why you have the position that you have there. And the party itself is of that position that the party simply is not buying. It's not buying that whole idea. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put forward Akpabio, who we've seen in some of the covering videos that we've seen Akpabio in close relationship there with the president-elect. So, but this is where we are now. They have to get a move on. They really have to come to an understanding very quickly so that the rest of us can know exactly where we are. So minds can be linked in one direction. The outstanding now is, the two northwest positions, the positions that have been, that's the biggest problem, I think.
It can be managed. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Agree that the party leadership do not respond early enough. Agree that they allow this thing to escape their hands and want to recatinate Saraki tendencies. But even at this level, it can effectively be managed and be tackled. I can tell you that. The two political leaders, Ashwaji Tinubu and Shetima, are materials and legislators to the core. They know their onions and they can play the game. They will beat them to their game. I can assure you that. Let them come back. You understand? We that work with him under Alliance for Democracy, I was the last serving National Financial Secretary of AD at the headquarters. Since 1999 to when AD became transformed to ACAC and to APC. So I know the character I'm talking about and the political sagacity in Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Kalu will be brought home. He's part of us. He will come home. He's just raking for relevance and he will get it, but not at that level this time around. The Southeast have not contributed golden egg to the table. So even if they bake the egg, he can't eat the omelets. That's the truth.
I think that's a fine place to leave it. Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi, thank you very much for making yourself available for us this morning to look at it. And it's quite encouraging depending on who is listening. There are those who will not be very happy with what you have said, but then there are those who are going to be quite happy that it's a reasoned presentation. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi, North Central Zone Campaign for Democracy Chairman. Okay, then. So we're going to have to leave it here this morning. It's been a bit challenging, as you saw, technical challenges here and there. Maybe it's the rain that, at least in the southwest of the country here, there was rain overnight. Maybe that's the way it was in a lot of places in the country. But we hope it will be better tomorrow. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.